Oh, this is a show I want to see. Tonight, USA Network presents the summer's most provocative and sexy new drama, Satisfaction. I actually saw a preview for this, and I'm very excited to see this. The series explores modern love through the eyes of one couple who makes shocking and unconventional choices to save their marriage. A beautiful house, a great kid, Neil and Grace seem to have it all, but there's still something missing. Would you risk your marriage to save it? Satisfaction, a new original series, premieres tonight at 10, 9 Central, only on USA Network.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
PodcastOne.com presents the Ask Women Podcast. A place where two comics and a professional wing girl get together to dissect the female mind.
You don't know how I feel.
And explain it to men in terms they can actually understand. Booze. Now, here's the lovely ladies of Ask Women.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ask Women Podcast, where you get real advice straight from the source. I'm Kristen Carney, a comedian and a human being, here with Marni Kinrys.
An awesome human being.
That's true.
Beyond awesome.
That's very true. And, of course, Marni Kinrys, who's an awesome human being as well.
Thank you.
Owner of the Wing Girl Method. Go there.com.
Yes.
And we have our voice of quote-unquote man today. I'm not doing quotes for any other reason, because you're a very lovely man. I don't know why I did quotes.
It's okay.
Lachlan Patterson.
Patterson. It's okay.
Oh,
God
she's just
damn
bragging
it.
about...
I was going to forgive her on the quote thing, but then the Peterson. No, just kidding.
fucking up. She was
Very
bragging
common.
the other week about, like, you not... Or I was saying to her, you never screw up a last name. So
Yeah.
now she just screwed up a last name.
You would be surprised with a name like Lachlan how many people actually get it right and screw up.
Really?
Patterson. It's
Right.
9 times out of 10.
Because the energy goes to the
Interesting.
first name. And then they throw
Yeah.
away the thoughts of the
They're like,
last
this
name.
is an easy
We're
one,
like, let me just
obviously.
focus on. Yeah, that's exactly
Right.
what it is.
Right.
I think.
Do you ever
Yeah.
get like the laugh? I'm a comedian, Lachlan.
I get them all for
Yeah.
sure.
Really?
The worst was as a kid. You know, when you get a little trophy. And as a kid, I had all my trophies. I played a lot of sports, and all my trophies were all misspelt. Every
Really?
single one. Yeah.
That's horrible. I would say, like, Lachlan. Like, if
That's
I
how, that's how it's really pronounced, Lachlan.
That's it. Really?
Yeah.
What's the where does it come from?
It's from Scotland, and it's from the word Lochman, which means lake man, which is what the Scots called the people who came from the north, the Vikings, the
Cool.
Norsemen.
Viking.
That's pretty badass.
I'm an ex-Viking.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, a huge Minnesota Vikings fan.
There's lots of Vikings in Minnesota.
But from Canada, right?
It's a sports team, really, Marn?
I don't know.
The
I have
Minnesota
no idea.
Vikings?
I don't know. I was trying to make my own joke. I didn't realize you were also making one too.
All right.
Sorry to not jump on board with it.
Sports references.
Well, we have a Viking, and
Not-
we're
not
also,
going on me.
We have a Viking with us, but we also are going to have an ex-NBA player.
I think I
on our
might
show.
have just seen him walk in.
You can
really?
always pick him out.
He's the super tall guy, but he was white.
Oh, he was white. Okay.
He didn't look like he looked like me,
Oh.
but he must be the guy.
Wow.
Yeah, because he's tall.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to take a picture at the end of the show then with the
I know, the two
like we're like
shorties.
miniature, and you guys are giants.
I know, seriously.
You guys remind me of that Saturday Night Live sketch with
No, please.
With the the cupcake.
yeah, like you finish each other's sentences.
No,
and you,
please.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
it's
very
starting to
nice.
happen.
It's happening, Kristen.
No.
Get over it.
Time to quit.
60-something episodes in, I think it should be.
If I ever become an SNL sketch, I know it's time to kill myself.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were aiming for.
No,
All
I want
right.
to be writing them. not
Oh,
like
gotcha. Not in one.
the idiots that they're making
No,
fun
she
of.
doesn't want them to parody her life.
Right.
I thought that's like the goal for any entertainer is to be parodied by
Well, if you're
Saturday
like
Night Live.
Kathy Lee Gifford or something, like you want to be parodied.
Right.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Well, are people starting to parody you yet? Because you are a little celebrity. You are on Last Comic Standing.
I'm so far I've been all right. No one's really making fun of my crooked smile too much yet.
Really? But what do
Yeah.
they call you? Isn't there like a name?
Yeah, they call me mannequin.
Because you're so hot.
No, because Keenan said I look like a mannequin. And
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can. Well, that means like perfection, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Is
I mean,
that
it's like the best.
Is that like
insult.
a negative?
It's the best
I mean,
insult ever.
I should look at the positive that it's an attractive man, but there's also the idea that there's this figure who's
Oh, stiff.
a little bit. What's the word for it when you don't have a lot inside?
Plastic.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Well.
A little bit. What's that called?
Shallowness.
Yeah,
I don't
kinda
know.
like a
Oh, is that what he was saying?
No, I don't think so. I think I looked.
Like a mannequin.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because you're very funny. It's not like you have no substance. To
I feel
you.
like it would be
Thank
more
you.
insulting to call you like Ken doll.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Well,
well.
then.
I mean, that's not insulting.
Then it's insulting.
But tell us about being on Last Comic Standing.
It's you know what I've never learned so much in so short a time as I have on this show. It's
Really?
it's been I've had to learn so much about myself. It's caused me to have to deal with all my insecurities and all my issues. I've had to deal with them to get through it. If I ignored those things, I wouldn't still be in it.
Really?
I had to deal with, for example, one of my biggest insecurities is people not liking me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very similar to a lot of people who listen to the show.
And who hosts the show.
Right. You have
Severe. It's severe.
So there's a point on this show where you have to say, I know I am funnier than, and you have to name somebody. And it's just really hard to do for me.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
Somebody else that's on the show?
It's like,
oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, and they play it back right away.
it's trying to make like
Enemies?
Last Comic Standing, like Real Housewives or something.
It's the reality part of the show.
Right.
Everything else, I'm doing stand-up. I'm doing challenges where, I'm doing improv or sketch or whatever. But that part...
That's hard.
Right. And everyone thinks, this is just reality TV. And
It's your life, too.
Yeah. It's an
they're real
important
people
thing.
that
Yeah. They're real people.
Yeah.
But you have to know, you just have to believe that, I guess you have to believe that it's a show. These people are going to have to understand. Don't take things personally. That's a huge part that I've learned. I read the 4 agreements. Don't take things personally is one of the main ones. Never take things personally. And it's
Wait, what are the 4 agreements? Is this like in general in life?
It's a book, but it's the 4. These are 4 things you should live by, according to the book. And one is don't take things personal. Always do your best. Be impeccable with your word. And
It's obviously not an important one.
the other one's like just be a good person. I think
Those are great things.
I screwed up the last one. Someone's gonna call me out on that. but I've been trying to live by these things, and that don't take things personal one is it's really tough for a comedian.
Well, for sure. I've been with Kristen for so long. I'm seeing the inside world of a comedian. You guys are fucked.
Yeah, we're a little.
Basically.
We can swear.
Yeah, you can swear.
Oh my god.
Your
Come on,
whole
mannequin,
being
let's
just,
see
like,
it.
loosened
Thank
up.
fuck. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of interviews with different public,
Right.
and so I've been having to keep clean because I got a couple of phone calls from NBC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool are you getting phone calls from NBC? I'm like, this is the network.
The network
saying, don't say this.
publicists say no, say this.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get to the meat of the show because
Which is not you because you're shallow.
Oh, yes,
You're all
exactly.
plastic.
Empty and
I'm
shallow.
all
But
skin.
before we get to the NBA player, I want to talk
that's
to
him.
you about
That's a
being
tall man.
a mannequin, right? So you're very good looking, and about
Thank you.
a bit of your dating history and
Sure.
did you have challenges with women, even being so good looking?
Especially,
Really?
right?
Well,
Trust.
can I say this? If I saw you and you were perhaps interested in me, which I could say would probably happen. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I would say, oh, this guy probably thinks he's great. He's tall, he's lean, he's tan. He's probably into himself.
Yeah.
So you probably had to deal with that.
That's one of the first things people think about me.
Right.
Really?
For sure, they just assume.
I mean, I thought I didn't know.
I'd be like, the pretty boy, not really. Like,
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? I didn't think that about you. Because, so my husband and I know you.
You found one.
I
You
lived
found
with
one.
Marnie.
Yeah.
I stayed with her, and their roommate was Jay Larson.
Right.
And I
Yeah,
stayed
it's
with them when
crazy.
I lived in Canada.
Well, yeah. Well, Jay Larson was actually jealous of Lachlan, I think, for a little bit because my husband and I were so into him.
Yeah.
Like, we had a couple's crush on Lachlan because he was just so funny. And we're like, where's Lachlan? And, like, we just kept requesting him, and that made Jay very upset.
I had such fun
You've
with
been
you guys.
requested.
You've been requested. Tell us a joke. Honestly, we just loved having Jay there because he'd bring people in who would just make us laugh. We never had to speak.
I saw him last week at this NBC meet and greet, and it was so nice to see him. And we're just sitting there with drinks. And I used to do his little coffee, the World Cafe. I used to do his Wednesday nights at the World Cafe, and we'd struggle for stage time all over town. And we're sitting there, and you're surrounded by all these celebrities, and we're just sitting in the middle of it. And I just looked at him. I'm like, "Can you believe this?"
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Sorry to derail from talking about you and women. So but that's something you had to overcome with women, or like how did that help or hurt you when you
Well,
were
I
single?
guess if guys are listening, they're going to hate this, but I never.
Guys are listening.
Okay. Well, I never really approached women. I never really had to approach women, and maybe that's good. I don't know, but women would approach me, and I would kind of I could get eye contact from a girl and smile, and they'd pretty much say hi.
Okay.
So that was how I would meet girls. And
but were they the girls that you wanted?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I definitely had to weed through the drama. I've been in a lot of relationships because of how I look. I think I've been in a ton of relationships. I could turn a one-night stand into a 3-year relationship.
Yikes.
I've done it before. And it's very hard for me.
It's like, what's the worst one-night stand you ever had? The one that turned into a 3-year
The one
relationship.
that never
For
stopped.
sure. And they end with girls crying. I've 9 times out of 10 gone out with girls who dug me more than I dug them, and I hated it. I hated feeling that way. I always wanted to be the one who was lost in love. And,
Guys that are listening are like, this is a sad story.
this is the
Get him off
opposite
the
of,
show.
yeah. So,
No, I'm kidding.
But I learned a lot about women throughout all those relationships. I've probably been in like 15 relationships, long ones,
Yikes.
committed ones.
You're only
Yikes.
22 as well. So
And I'm only 20. Never cheated.
You almost had me for a minute.
yeah, you're like, whoa, okay, I see it. Yeah. No, but okay, so you may not have had problems with introductions,
Right.
But not that I only want to hear about challenges, but I want to hear something that guys can possibly learn from. Because a lot
Sure.
of times we talk about how looks aren't the most important thing to women. It's definitely a foot in the door, and it helps you. But you also have to have other things to back up the looks.
Yeah.
Do you have those other things?
I think I do. I think my girlfriend calls me the best boyfriend ever.
Really?
And I do too.
Puke. I call my boyfriend the worst boyfriend ever.
Really? I try to spoil her. I want to take care of her and make her happy to the point where I will be unhappy. Like I would do that for her.
How long have you guys been together?
5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she still calls you the best boyfriend ever. 5 years in.
I bring her flowers.
doing something right.
I make sure I bring gifts whenever I can. I try to make her look good. I'm disgusting.
I need a puke bin,
Yeah.
please.
I'm the greatest boyfriend ever. There
But
you
what
go.
does that mean? So aside from bringing flowers, like what does that mean being the best boyfriend ever? Are you attentive? Do you listen? Like, okay.
Listening's the most important one of all.
So what does that mean to listen? Like as a man describing it to other men, what does
Yeah.
listening mean and how does it
These are
look?
great questions. So listening means you really just gotta. Your only goal when that person is talking is to service them. You can't be turning what they're saying into something about you. Almost like a therapist.
Yeah.
If you get a therapist who goes, "Oh my God, that totally happened to me too
That
one
would
time,"
Right.
me as a therapist.
right?
Yeah.
So you gotta be a bit of a therapist where you just sit there and go, "Really? No way."
That would be a really funny sketch.
and the therapist
shitty-
like takes over the therapy. Like, oh my God, that happened to me too. I hate the guy.
No way.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Oh man, one time. Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
totally. So I think that's how you listen. Is you just your goal should literally just be to service her when you're listening, and in the same time you got to have that back. You can't just keep listening to someone all day and not have that
Right.
reciprocated. So it's got to be both. And I think if you get in a good relationship and you get a good rhythm, you get to the point where the person knows, okay, this is my time to talk. Okay, this is my time to listen, and listening is important. And just supporting is the other thing too. Is you got to. Yeah. I guess I'm brave. People say because I do stand-up comedy. Oh, you must be very brave, and I guess it's because we took a big risk, right?
You continue to take big risks every single day.
Right. And I'm with someone who really is a little bit more timid, and I'm teaching her how to take risks,
Right.
take a ton of risks, and I'm trying to use my skills to help her. And she's very smart and calculated, and so she's teaching me how to take my time, make sure I cross my T's and dot my I's.
You need to think about that for a second.
I
always think about that one too. I'm like, wait, cross my...
Cross my I's and
Yeah.
dot my T's. I've
Yeah,
said that
exactly.
so many times.
Yeah.
I think there's so much about being with someone. It just, you got to almost shake them and go, look, this is how I am. And I need you to be like this. You got to have these staff meetings all the time when you're in a relationship. And you got to be look, like recently, she's always late, right? And she's always setting us up to go on dates. All of a sudden, people want to hang out with us.
Yeah, of course.
We
Right.
became super popular.
I mean, we wanted it. I haven't seen Lachlan in like a year.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
exactly.
yeah, I'm going to contact him now.
And I said yes
Celeb.
because I love you guys and I want to reunite with Jordan. I keep saying that, but every time I run into him, I try to reunite with him. And I think we're both just really flaky,
He
or
just
is it
doesn't
just
like
me?
you.
He doesn't. He likes me.
He's over it. No, we had a crush on you at first, and he's over it.
I don't agree. I just,
He does like you.
Okay, good.
He just doesn't hang out with anybody.
Yeah, me neither.
Right.
But all of a sudden, she's super busy, and she's like, okay, like after this, she set me up with a dentist appointment, and she's like, what time can you go to the dentist? And I'm like, 5. And she's like, well, I set the appointment for 3. And I'm like, well, I can't get out till 4. And she's like, so 4:30? I'm like, no, 5. And I haven't brushed my teeth all day. So I barely brush my teeth anyway. Like, I brush them twice a day, but, I don't floss. And I don't want to. You want to floss before you go to the dentist, don't you?
For sure.
Yeah,
like
but the thing is, it's like it's like not a big enough. It's probably a bigger job than what floss can do for the moment.
And maybe stop the bleeding a bit if I get a couple of weeks of flossing in.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
anyway, she just keeps booking us for stuff. Oh, tomorrow night we're going out for this. And
so you had to have a talk with her and say, like,
I have to submit
Stop
a
it,
Tonight
woman.
Show set by next week. Not that I'm going to be on the Tonight Show, but they want a set just in case.
Yeah.
And it's a huge commitment. And I just told her, look, this is what's happening. We are not going out anywhere. I'm going every night. I'm going to a comedy club. You can come with me. You can sit at the bar. I will give you dinner.
You can floss my teeth there.
You could bring whomever you want with you to the shows, but every day of the week I'm going to be doing comedy.
Yeah.
So, and she's really excited about all these new opportunities. And
so it's about respect.
It's about respect. You really got to. You constantly, and it has to be fair, and it has to be easy to say, and it has to be about you. It can't be about them. You can't say you're like this, you're like this, you're like this. You got to say I'm like this. I hate being late. Not you're always late.
Right.
I can't be late.
Right.
And if it comes to the point where I'm waiting for you and I'm going to be late, I'm going to have to leave without you, and you're just going to have to take an Uber.
Right.
I like that.
Actually, my boyfriend and I, on Saturday night, I was pretty mad, but we were going to see Planet of the Apes, and we were supposed to go the night before, but I had made other plans, and he was a little bit bitter that I kind of ditched him, but I never hang out with friends, so it's like, well, I have an opportunity to hang out with a friend.
Yeah.
Like, I have to take it.
Yeah.
So the next night was our plan to go see Planet of the Apes. I bought tickets, was all planned to go. I came home, and he was dead asleep, and I couldn't get him up, and so anyway, he woke up about 10 minutes before the movie, and I had to say, I'm going, I'll meet you there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really strong.
And it wasn't like I was mad. It was just like more like, this is the way it is. I want to see the credits mean everything to me at the beginning, or the previews mean everything to me. I can't miss the previews. So anyway, he came in about 25 minutes late to the movie.
Oh, he did come. Oh,
But he also got pulled over on the way. Anyway, so it's, like I had to say.
It's your thing, too.
No, actually, I'm always late.
Are you really?
Yeah, so it's pretty ironic.
That is funny.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's really great. Like, the people who are listening, what you're saying is that in a relationship, there has to be a free space to express yourself. You can't always just, take it up the ass, basically. But be complacent.
But what your line is, whatever those things are about you that drives you nuts about the other person, it's not that it drives you nuts about the other person. It's you that drives you nuts about you. So when you explain it to your
It's a really good point.
I like that.
You got to say, this is how I am.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that way it frees you from responsibility if they screw it up.
And it takes away a lot of blame that can build tension and anger.
You can't drive my car because it's my car.
Right.
And I'm just really particular about my car.
And that's
you're a horrible driver and you're going to crash
Exactly. You've ruined my car.
I like that.
You quit ruining my car. It's just it's going to cause a fight.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Make it about you. Even when you're breaking up with someone, don't ever say you're going to be better off without me, or it's because it's always
it's because of you.
I mean, it sounds so cliche. It's not you, it's me. Don't say that, but phrase it with that in mind.
Yeah, it's because I don't like you.
I have
why
a
we're
huge
breaking
problem with you.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, we are going to end this first segment so we can bring in the other tall guy into the room.
Okay.
Who is?
Yeah, you guys have some.
Who is
What's
he?
his
He's the
name?
NBA
He's
player.
Paul Shirley from. He has a show on PodcastOne called The Short Corner Podcast, and he's pretty entertaining. He's a really funny guy. So
And he's an ex-NBA player?
ex-NBA player.
Wow.
But he looks really young, so I don't. That's crazy that he's an ex-anything. But yeah, we will be back with him at the soon, very shortly. He'll be young. Marni, buying a car is a not-so-fun experience for most people, and it doesn't have to be. At TrueCar.com, they'll help you get rid of the fear that you may overpay. You know you'll get a fair price because they show you what others paid for the car you're looking for. TrueCar.com analyzes what people are paying for their cars in their market and shares it with consumers so that they never have to overpay. Over 40,000 cars were sold by TrueCar certified dealers just last month. Users see an average savings of $3,046 off MSRP. TrueCar certified dealers go through a certification process, and you work directly with a TrueCar representative that will honor your savings. TrueCar certified dealers believe that truth and transparency are essentials to a better buying experience. First, go to TrueCar.com and find out what others paid for the same vehicle in your market and around the country. Second, register at TrueCar.com to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings certificate. And the third step is simple. Just print out your certificate and take it to the TrueCar certified dealer for a better hassle-free buying experience. TrueCar has the most comprehensive new car pricing information available and a certified network of dealers that offers a hassle-free car buying experience and negotiation-free guaranteed savings. Support the Ask Women podcast and shop at TrueCar.com.
You're listening to the Ask Women podcast, a PodcastOne presentation.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Ask Women podcast. We are here with, of course, Lachlan still, but we have another tall man in the studio named Paul Shirley, ex-NBA star and host at, I'm embarrassed already trying to talk about sports at all.
Well,
what do I say?
It's
basketball
funny when
player?
I think it's being a professional athlete makes you like a participant
Star.
in pornography. People just say porn star without knowing, and they say basketball star, but I
Right.
was not a basketball star by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, well, I love your
I was like
self-deprecation.
a basketball also ran.
Okay, good.
That would be a better.
Okay, good. I like that. Did you like a bench warmer?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay,
That sounds awesome.
It's better than.
That's still awesome, dude.
It's better than the alternative, which is not making.
I was
it.
like
Right,
an
exactly.
audience.
Right.
It's like better to be a bench warmer than like an audience seat warmer.
Yeah, than the guy who paid $1,000
Exactly.
for the
Right.
same seat I'm sitting in.
Basically.
That's
Right.
true. You're basically
I
making
got that
money.
for free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it because you're white?
That I didn't get to play.
Yeah.
We can't.
There's a
talk
lot of
about those
racism.
things.
There's a lot of racism going on.
That's true.
I actually always thought that at some point it would help me to be white because they always need like a
The
token
one
Right.
token white guy.
white guy. I feel like I was always behind the token white guy.
Right.
which is
Who
a
was the
tough spot.
token white guy in front of you?
This is a myriad options. I played for 17 professional basketball teams in the 10 years that I played. So they all kind of run together. There were a lot of teammates.
Okay.
A lot of teammates. A lot of
Lots of
penises.
white guys.
So
Lots of
A lot of
penises.
dicks
Now that's
and
a
showers.
show. Oh, wow.
That was the one thing I couldn't.
Long ones,
I
big
had
ones?
to just sweat my way back to my house. I couldn't.
Yeah. Did you play?
I did. I played in high school and college. I played against Steve Nash.
Oh, nice. What college?
I'm from Vancouver.
Oh.
So I played against him in high school.
I knew I liked you. I love Canadians.
Oh, thank you.
Canadian too. Look at me seeking approval.
I'm like I'm the
me.
enemy. I'm American. I'm the
Yeah,
enemy.
damn.
Yeah, we're so
Americans.
boring with our Americanness.
Yeah.
So what college did you play at?
I was community college.
Which one?
Capilano.
I don't know.
I'd keep
And that's
that
where
to
he played?
yourself.
He,
Capilano sounds
he
like
played
an
at
Italian.
St. Michael's
Ah.
SMU. Where did? First of all, how tall are you?
6'9". This is actually a valid question on the radio. What I hate is when people. I was walking down the street the other day, and this lady with a suitcase stops her suitcase and says, "Can I guess how tall you are?"
Oh, God.
Which
No.
is actually very polite of her because normally people just start yelling out heights.
No, they don't. They're like,
6'5", 6'5".
no, they don't.
And-
Do they really?
Yeah, it's people.
6'5",
It's
that's
like,
insulting
people
for you.
lose their minds when it comes to height, as you
I do
probably
it.
know. I don't
Yeah.
really understand why. It's like they're
Well, you're a
bird
freak.
watchers.
See, I get quiet when a tall person walks.
Me too.
No,
No.
I'm like, I shouldn't look. I shouldn't look at them.
Yeah, I feel like it's
like you have a big birthmark
These
on your
people
face.
who would ask me how tall I am are like bird watchers who want to capture each bird they've ever seen. So, like, husband of mine, I saw someone who was 6'9" today. He
true.
verified it for me.
Yeah.
That is
very
hilarious. So she
peculiar.
stops with her suitcase and says, "How tall
Yeah.
are you?"
Why was she carrying a suitcase? Was she a bum? Like,
Have you
what-
seen? There's
there
tons of people in LA who carry
yeah,
suitcases.
In
It's
Los
very
Angeles,
weird.
people always have suitcases. I
I've
don't
never
know
seen
this.
it anywhere
Why
else.
this
Or
makes-
New York, I have seen it
That's
as
true.
well.
Transans.
It's because
Bunch of
the
losers.
hotels are too expensive, so they're like,
Yeah.
I got to get to the plane, but I couldn't afford another night.
Yeah, it's weird when you
true.
see the wheeled luggage just in an alley,
I think it's
like walking down the alley. With
I
wheeled
always
luggage.
assume it's a bomb.
a
a bomb or a bum.
Bomb.
A bomb.
I have a very annoying American accent.
Wait, where are you from?
I'm from upstate New York, but we kind of talk like Midwesterny.
Yeah, I'm from Kansas, so
you
we'll
are?
probably have the same accent.
You don't have an accent.
Well, Kansas is. Do you know that a lot of those newscasters are from the Midwest? Like Tom Brokaw's from South Dakota or something, because it's
Really?
a sort of vanilla accent
Yeah.
for Americans.
Yeah.
All I know, and I'm going to make a horrible joke about Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. She was from Kansas. That's the only person I know from Kansas.
Yeah, I've heard that
Where
one
was the
like
joke?
one time before.
She's the only one.
Yeah, you're the first.
She's the only celebrity from Kansas.
Yeah, it's the only person I know. Really, I didn't know that. So you guys are like vanilla and neutral.
Yeah, we're right in the middle.
Okay, so you're fitting
That's
in
what
with
we
your
do.
theme of being like the white guy behind other people, vanilla and neutral.
Right.
Got it.
Probably held
I have
me
a
back.
great understanding of
Definitely
who you
held me back in basketball.
are. For sure.
Just too
For
modest.
sure. Well, did it hold you back in your dating life to get into what the show
to
is
bring
all
it back
about?
Around. I think it. So here's my theory on this: is that basketball has helped me immensely with dating, because I'm always terrified on the inside.
Really?
But in basketball, you are taught to just deal with the fact that 15,000 people are watching you live. You're almost naked. People forget about that. When you're playing basketball, you're not wearing very many clothes, as you probably remember.
I
Right.
feel very vulnerable.
Yeah, you're on stage,
Yeah,
more or
your
less.
jump
And then there are
spots
another
around.
million people watching you on
Yeah.
TV, or 10, or whatever the number is, but you have to pretend to be
You don't
calm,
notice.
because you can't show weakness
But
to
you're
your
just on the bench.
opponents.
How do you get
and-
nervous on the
Yeah,
bench?
exactly. It's like, am I sitting
back,
right?
So
back in the
nervous right
days
now.
when I actually used to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played in Spain and Greece and Russia
Oh, wow.
and in the minor leagues, so I did a lot of non-bench sitting as well.
right.
And I think a lot of that is just in the same way that, like, going into battle, you don't want to show weakness to your opponent. You
Yeah.
would do the same thing on the basketball court.
Yeah.
And when I'm going up to a strange girl, I generally tap into that same thing of knowing, like, on the inside I'm scared and I'm still the same, like, 7-year-old boy that
Right.
doesn't understand how anything works. I just have to pretend that I'm not.
Yeah. And she can't even really see your face, so
Right.
You know, she
can
wouldn't
only
know
see-
anyway.
What's happening up
She's
there?
like, that's a really good looking Adam's apple.
Yeah.
You got there, sir.
it looks
Yeah,
really
we got
relaxed.
we both got the that's where the growth hormone comes from.
Is it really? I
Yeah.
always wondered why taller men seem to have the.
That's where you're.
Bigger Adam's apple?
That's
I
where
didn't
your
know
growth.
Or is it just because our necks are stretched? And so
Right,
it's
I think that's
obvious?
what the reason
Right,
We were
thinner
5'2".
skin or something.
Have
shows
you
it.
ever been envious of short dudes because they can look muscular more easily than we can?
Oh yeah, it takes forever to get any growth at the gym.
Yeah.
Forever.
Really?
But
You
if
guys should
we-
start a podcast, like sad stories.
We
of
could totally do
giants.
Stories of tall dudes.
They might be sad giants.
Sad giants.
The world was built for 5'7". The world. I shower, and how do you get your armpits pretty easily? Armpits are almost impossible. You gotta let
It is a whole. I dream of
Why? 'Cause the
someday.
ceiling's right there. You can't reach.
Well, no, because the shower head is like at our.
Oh,
It's at
yeah.
nipple height most of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
God,
So
I
jumping.
do feel bad for you guys now.
Yeah, somebody should do a reality show on just
On just
the
tall
plight
people?
of- well, it wouldn't be a show; it'd be like a short documentary.
Right.
The things
Like they
that we
can't
run
shower.
into.
It'd be
Yeah.
ironically short, and like one about midgets would be really long.
Yeah.
I like
4
that.
hours.
Okay, I want to get back to feeling, showing confidence on the outside, but feeling nervous on the inside.
Right.
Because this is what I tell the guys that I work with, and we tell people on the show, is that being confident doesn't mean that you live like the happiest life and nothing ever phases you. It just means that you have a tool belt full of tools so that you can project confidence and feel more confident a lot faster and easier than other people. So you don't allow yourself to go down the negative paths that many people do. So how do you do this? I think if you have the experience of being on television, people watching, but how do you get that confidence in that split moment when you are approaching women?
That's an odd question for me because I spent so much of my life as a basketball player that I developed an identity as a basketball
Right.
player, and only in the last 4 years am I no longer a basketball player.
Right.
Now I write for a living and those sorts of things. So I'm sort of developing an entire different career, which I think for men is especially important because we tie our self-esteem to our careers. So I think that confidence tends to come from feeling good about what you're doing in the world in general, right? Like you guys have probably seen this. How
Yeah.
do you feel the same way?
Lachlan's a
Male?
comedian too.
Yeah.
So he feels horrible
We're
about it
starting
all
to
the
even
time.
more similar, like the writing thing, and I definitely, I definitely communicate to women through my humor, which is what I write for sure.
Yeah.
I don't use the mannequin thing.
Right. So
I don't
you
talk
you
about-
associate with what you do. Like that's what you're most proud of. So
Yeah,
that's what
I-
you project. Was that
Yeah.
a challenge for you when you did, transition into a new skill set and a new
For sure, and it's
Yeah.
still a challenge. Especially, I'm 36, and so I've had to start my life over at age like 32 is when I quit playing basketball. Right. And I think because maybe it could be because of the Midwesterness that we are kind of taught to tie into our self-esteem what we do for a living.
I think that's across the board, to tell you the truth, not just Midwestern.
Yeah, I think it's true for lots of people. I'm just trying to be self-deprecating. Okay. I think that it is a struggle to then find what you feel good about. Like, what is it that today I feel good about having done or whatever? That's also kind of dangerous because when you get to be 65 years old, you can't point to those things anymore, right? So you have to find something else. I think it's very like new agey, but you have to find some ability to just love who you are in general outside of the things that you do.
Absolutely.
In order to do what you're saying, to walk up to a girl at a coffee shop and just know that like it doesn't matter how much money I have or what car I drive. It's just that I'm an okay person, and you're probably going to enjoy talking to me.
Well, I've talked about my brother a few times. Like my brother's 30. He's 38 now, and he's had a really hard time finding what he's supposed to be doing in life. And he doesn't have a huge home, and he doesn't have an amazing car. And so he's not seeing any self-worth in him daily. And so when he wakes up and he wants to try to go on a date, he doesn't have a girlfriend. He's a very handsome guy. He just has always had like lack of self-esteem. He's never been able to plant his foot and say, I'm okay that I did at least this today. Like he's never given himself any credit at all because he hasn't had those other things in line.
Yeah.
To them.
And I think that is, I've talked to lots of people throughout my life who've talked about, again, men especially, feeling like they have to get all of their ducks in a row before they can then find a relationship. Have you guys noticed that in your stuff?
Of course.
That's just...
My husband.
Really? What did he have to do before he felt like comfortable...
proposing to me
and settling down.
Many things. He had to be really proud of what he did.
Yeah.
He had to be well accomplished. He had to be able to provide in his mind the way he wanted to for a family and be the masculine man he'd always envisioned himself being when he got to the age where he would be married.
And plow a ton of chicks.
Right, for sure.
And also, yes.
We do that together. So.
He's also really tall.
Yes,
right?
I know. We should bring him in
Jordan,
too. He'd be like a midget in this room, though. He'd be really small.
No, my boyfriend would be a midget.
Oh, God, he'd
be like up to your
How
pieces.
tall is your boyfriend?
He's 5'9".
Okay. How tall are you?
Which is tall.
5'4".
Oh,
I know,
then
you
it
said
works.
5'7".
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right for him.
My husband's a foot taller than me, and when we walk, he rests his hand on my head.
That's cute, though.
Yeah, not so cute at our wedding when my neck like freaking killed at our first dance. It was horrible. But it was anyway. I like his height. He has a short neck, so he would have been taller if his neck was a normal size, and that would have been even worse. So I'm happy for that. Anyway, I have no.
He has
I didn't
no
know.
neck?
I didn't know if you were serious about his neck.
No, he has no neck.
He has actual.
He makes fun of himself all the time. He has like a very you'll see next time you see him.
Yeah, I can kind of see that now. He's got a condensed neck.
I'll show you the picture of him. Okay, I want to get to some questions because we have 10 minutes. All right, perfect. So we have this segment called Overanalyze This. People writing questions, we overanalyze the crap out of them.
Right.
Yes. So hopefully you're ready to answer these
I
questions.
am. I listen to
our
these
podcast?
2 half podcasts.
Oh no!
To pay attention
Which
to what the
half?
sorts of
Good for you,
things that
dude.
you guys do.
You're good. I don't
The
listen to
beginning
anything.
half.
Oh, good.
I mean, I wasn't
so
going to
you
just
haven't
dive
heard
in.
any of this stuff.
No, I mean, I've not heard the.
It's like a surprise for you.
Yeah.
That we have this.
let's do
Okay,
this.
wonderful. All right, so let's do this. You're ready? All right.
Yes, you too.
Right.
Okay.
All right, let
So
me
overanalyze
get
some
to a
shit.
good one. There was a Debbie Danner email, which I'm not going to read. Okay, what is your opinion on rebounds? Do I want to be...
basketball rebounds?
Oh, perfect for you. Okay,
Vital
do I
to
want to be
team
the
success.
rebound guy? I'm looking for a long-term relationship, and the subject of rebound guys...
I can't believe we have
it's
a rebound
usually
guy topic right now.
in the
Yes.
context of sleeping
Well
with
played.
vulnerable women after they get out of a relationship. What are your thoughts on doing that, of being the rebound
So
guy?
he doesn't want to be the. He's saying
He's
that
saying,
he has
I'm
the
looking for a
opportunity
long-term relationship, but he's having the opportunity to be the
to
rebound
be.
guy.
Well, is he? Are the girls conscious of what's going on? That's really the important thing, right? If everybody's on the same page, then it's cool. If he's
Right.
taking advantage of the
I think he's taking
weakened
advantage
psyche,
of the
then
yes.
you're a shitty human being,
Right.
Right?
Yes,
Don't you think?
100%.
I'm gonna clarify what's going on. I think here there's a woman who just broke up with someone,
Right.
and is using this guy to get over that girl. So is using that guy to get over the guy. Am I right?
Well, I don't know. That's the whole thing. This is the problem with short questions. We don't get a lot of information.
Well, I
so
think we could
basically his
examine
question
this.
is, he's like, do I want to be the rebound guy? That's what his question is. Do I want to
So
be?
what's going on is a girl is using him.
Right. So it's
Okay.
the shoe is on the other
Right.
proverbial foot.
And
Well, it doesn't
I don't
sound like
know why.
he does
I mean-
because he said, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. So he's already saying, I don't want to be the rebound guy. I'm looking for a long-term relationship.
It sounds like he has answered his own question.
Yes,
right, exactly.
You don't want to be that, sir.
So,
I would
Naj,
say
then
that
don't
I
write
do
in.
think that after when you get to a certain point, you start to realize, depending on age and life experience, what you are looking for. And it sounds like he's probably at that point in his life, right? And the problem with, you can tell yourself, oh, I can date this girl or mess around with her or whatever, and maybe it'll last 3 months. But invariably, it takes up such emotional space that it prevents you from doing the things that you're looking to do, which are maybe like go out and meet girls at coffee shops.
So much drama being the rebound.
Oh, well, tell me about it.
He's right. It gets emotional. It gets complicated. Always ends bad.
I think women kind of look at it as like, he's a guy, he doesn't have emotions. It's okay if I kind of just take advantage of him and then move on because I'm the one with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Don't stay the night.
But most people don't actually know that it's a rebound situation, right?
You got if you as long as after it's over, you put your clothes on. Yeah, no crying, no talking. If you want to rebound, take it for what it is, a physical experience.
Right.
Don't rebound emotionally.
And then don't. Right. I think the thing is, if he wants a long-term relationship, he shouldn't latch on to any of these women who are rebounders.
Right.
Because then he's going to get hurt.
And that's probably where he's in rough water, because he's looking for the relationship.
Right.
And when you've gotten to that place, you are going to cling to the trappings of being in a relationship, the text messages, all of that. Right. I'm fascinated these days with just like how much time and energy we spend sending texts to people and how much emotion goes into it, because you're like, oh, I have this crutch, I can send this person this message and she'll make me feel better about myself, but it's not getting you anywhere as far as an actual relationship. Bullshit. If that's what you're looking for.
Right. Well, another question that he may be asking is, can something come out of a rebound relationship? Is
an unwanted child?
Right. Yes, for sure. Perhaps. But is there potential that it could be a long-term relationship?
More about this. Sometimes you go into a relationship thinking one thing and then another developes.
Yeah.
So that's not completely out of
like thinking you like them and then realizing you hating them.
That is an option.
Yeah.
Or I've had a rebound relationship. I met a girl who just broke up with somebody, and I had just been dumped. We had both just been dumped, and we used each other on several occasions physically, and then it just led to this relationship, and that ended horribly.
But that's what seems to be the common theme in my life is like I'll get into what I think is like, oh, we got through all of that stuff. We didn't address it, but that's fine because it's been long enough, and then it all crashes.
Well, actually, we have you who not only rebound. I'm going to just use that pun way too many times, but you just got out of a really long relationship 3 months ago.
I did.
Did you rebound?
I think now because I'm old enough and so I've gotten to a point of politeness where I just don't want to deal with hurting people's feelings. I'm super honest with everyone. Like, look, here's the deal. I just got out of this relationship. Don't expect anything out of me, which I think is good, but it also like
it's kind of harsh at the same time.
It kind of causes for you to spend some more lonely nights than you might have otherwise. Because there's that. It's odd too, where people want to be told the truth, but they don't necessarily want everything laid out for them.
They want honesty with tact.
Yeah. I remember one time I'd met this woman who had a child, right? She was probably 30, had a 9-year-old. The husband had died right after her child was born.
Horrible.
So, like, she had been single. She's a single mother and has been for 9 months or 9 years, and the guy's gone. He's dead, right? So out of the picture, which...
Well, literally dead?
Yeah, he had died in a car accident like a year after.
I was too busy laughing at my own
her, we were talking about the circumstances of her life.
Right, bitch.
But I've never really dated someone with a child, and I remember sitting at my kitchen table. We'd gone on a couple of dates, and it was at that point where we'd come back from something, and I said to her, like, I think we both know what's about to happen here. We're probably going to go back to my room at this point. This is you can tell from what's happening here that this is going on. But I have to tell you, I don't know how to proceed because you have this child, and I don't know what that means as far as, like, how I should treat you. Does everything... Because, like, you remember Jerry Maguire, right?
Yeah.
Like, where they talk about, like, you can't date girls with kids. So I was kind of informed by that.
Them.
Like, I don't know how this works. Can you just talk to me?
Can you just show me the money?
She got super offended because she's like, I just want to be treated like anybody else that you would date. I don't want to have to go through this every time. Yeah. And then she left my house.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But then, oddly enough, like 2 weeks later, we kind of picked back up where we had picked off.
Did she acknowledge that conversation? When you
She said she was hurt by it initially, but in the long run, that it was good.
Everything respected it.
Yeah.
I would think
but at the time, I thought, like, well, I ruined that.
Because it's like, okay, we have a moment, and then, like, okay, you're bringing it up again that I have a kid and that I'm supposed to be treated differently.
Right.
But if I thought about it, I would actually love that you said that. I think it's really sincere, and it's a great thing to say.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I always lay out my thoughts. Like, if I can't figure out the social etiquette or the process that we're supposed to be going through, I always state them. And I think some people can receive it well, and some people just think you're weird.
Yeah.
And the people that think you're weird or don't really understand aren't really my people.
Right.
You know, so you kind of have to weed them out or
You have
something.
to stick with who you are. I love that you said
It's
that.
like
It's great.
it's like in a sexual experience when someone says, "I'm going to get the condom." When you're straight up with people in the middle of a romantic, when it's romantic and you're like, look, I just want you to, it's awkward. And if you don't say it, we usually don't want to say it in a romantic way because then they might.
I'm going to get the condom.
You want to be crystal clear. You're laying out some stuff, and it's never romantic. It's, look, I just want to let you know that I just got out of a long relationship, and I'm really not looking for anything. It's exactly
the same thing.
and it's just such a downer to hear, but it's still, you got to say it. You got to free yourself of that responsibility.
But can I ask a question? Is that a true statement? So you're saying right now, like, you don't want to get in a relationship?
I made that one up. I don't know if that's true.
No, but because you were saying that you lay it out there for women that you are seeing. I just got out of a relationship.
In the last couple of months, I've definitely, like, right out of the relationship, I certainly didn't want to. Enough time has now passed that conceivably I could do that, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
Still sad.
I'm
so
sure.
I feel like anytime you get out of a relationship, that's
And in your hair and on your
picture.
t-shirt.
Guys, he's just crying a lot.
You have a picture of on your t-shirt. Exactly.
I think, especially, I don't know. I think everyone goes through this after a relationship. You do a lot of time where you have to like kind of just be alone again, right? And that sucks because you're like, I would rather use some other human to make me feel better, not necessarily sexually.
So is that what you were doing in?
It just takes up time in your mind. It makes it easier.
Being sad and
No,
being
I'm
alone.
saying like using other people.
Well, I found myself doing that, like we were alluding to earlier, even in like text messages, just checking in with someone. So we weren't even necessarily in a relationship, but it was a girl I'd maybe gone on a date with, and you get that same fulfillment of having a girlfriend without really having a girlfriend, because you're like, oh, hey, how's your day? How's your day? And that kind of gives you that same release without actually engaging in a relationship.
If you did meet somebody that just like bowled you over,
is the door going to open?
Right. And now she's here. No, but if you did, I really want to understand like being in that place and like what really defines a rebound, right?
I think it's a total spectrum, right? Like you could, because I'm not actively looking, right, I would be less likely to meet someone, but it doesn't make it impossible. If the right person comes along, I think that based on how much you've recovered, it can work out.
I think so too.
I think there's also a rebound as somebody that you would never date.
Right.
Clearly someone I would never date is a rebound.
Right. And that's a good way to get that out of your system.
Totally.
You know, if it's the bad guy or the crazy girl or whatever.
Yeah.
To get out of your system and just do things that you wouldn't typically do.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, one more question because then we have to wrap up. But this has been a fantastic show. I really like it. Okay, hi, ladies and guests. As the subject states, I don't have the subject here, so I don't remember what it was. But I love your show and listen every week. I'm a fairly typical guy as far as guys with low self-esteem and a crippling fear of rejection goes.
Oh, geez.
Very typical guy. I've done fairly well with women, but I'm still looking for the one. However, my problem with women, specifically a fear that women will laugh or believe that my pursuits are creepy, seems to be amplified on a somewhat regular basis while listening to the podcast. I'm confused because there have been numerous times listening to the show.
I hate when they call us out on like what
I know
we've said
exactly.
in the
We're like, you said this and you said that, assholes. See, but they're listening, like Locke had said. They're listening. That's a good thing. Okay, listening to the show where Marni thinks a listener's approach was sweet, but Kristen responded with, "No, that's creepy." As the guy who believes his every move is creepy, hearing Kristen confirm those fears, while at the same time hearing that Marni thinks it's a good move, is confusing to say the least. I don't believe I'm actually creepy with women, but the reason for that is that instead of approaching and taking a chance, I hear voices like Kristen's in people's heads, in my head, and don't take the chance. That seems to be putting a lot of credit on
Well,
you.
everyone should give me a lot of credit.
That you're in everybody's heads, and don't take the chance. I'm not sitting here saying Kristen needs to be removed from the show.
Why did you pick this email?
He's a long,
Because
this
I
is a
thought
long
it was
one.
hilarious.
He's
And this
just-
is,
Of course about
I could
me.
have edited this down because people keep saying how pretty Kristen is and how awesome she is.
That's why.
So this is one knocking you down, bitch. Okay, but I do believe she needs to understand that her somewhat conservative views in the dating game are impacting listeners in a negative way.
You're like,
Signed, Guy.
Well, that's all the time we have for the show.
Right. We'll see you next week when we ruin more
there's
dreams.
no question, but basically,
You're like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
it's wrapping up.
I was kidding.
You're
amazing.
just
Sweating
ever
now.
present in that poor guy's head.
I know.
I can get behind.
I used to think I was
kind of what-
effervescent, not like ever present in just like someone's mind.
omniscient.
Well, I think I think a way to like get me out of his mind is to know that actually a lot of girls aren't like me, sadly, right?
Okay.
So I think
in what way? Give me a background.
I do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I'm very judgmental and like very I overanalyze and I'm very negative and I'm
So
like
how
glass
are they
half
not
empty.
like you?
A lot of girls do like to talk to guys. I've always been shy. I was as a kid growing up. I was always the third wheel to boys, so I was never comfortable flirting or talking. But many other women are very well adjusted. Like Marnie's very well adjusted.
Yeah.
You know, everyone
you.
has to. You're welcome.
But
so
many women are not. So
Right, but I would give if I were him, I would give the girl that he's trying to hit on and or talk to the benefit of the doubt that they aren't a mental case and that they are probably more open to things than I am. If you're meeting a girl at a stand-up comedy club doing stand-up, maybe assume she's judging you. Yes. But when you're in a typical scenario out at a bar, just go with the fact that she's out, she wants to talk to people, and she's not like me, because if she was like me, she'd be at home.
Right.
The end. That's my defense of myself.
There you go, guy. But I want to hear what you have to say.
I think that he's right to be concerned in some ways, but he's also horribly wrong because what you learn as you get older, and I've been lucky to have lived in so many places that it was easy to remember that I was never going to see these people again.
Yeah.
Right.
So
nice.
the important thing to remember anytime you want to talk to a strange girl or do stand-up comedy or like do a cartwheel down the grocery store aisle is that you're never going to see these people again. So it doesn't really matter. Like they might judge you in that moment, but unless it's like at your high school reunion, those people aren't people you probably care that much about
Right, or
anyway.
else you'd
So
be
you just have
keeping
to
in
sort
touch
of
with
like
them anyway.
throw that part of your brain away, which is hard for me. I'm always thinking like, geez, everyone here is going to be watching me, especially because I'm 6'9", so they're
Right,
they're
they are
actively
watching
watching
you.
me.
Yeah.
But if I let go of that and remember like, oh shit, I live in a city of 10 million people, the chances of me ever seeing any of these people again is really, really low.
Right.
I can then function.
Whenever I get off an airplane and I sat next to someone, I just think, well, I'll never see that person again.
Right.
Ever. Not that
Yeah.
See, this is our differences. I think we're going to be best friends.
That's the best.
That's creepy.
the best-
That is creepy.
I'm kidding.
That's the best
No,
time
I'm
to
not.
practice lying when you're on a plane.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, it is.
Best.
Same personality. I will
They
tell
won't
you
know
one
you're a
thing.
sociopath.
Okay, the creepy vibe comes from men having self-doubt. That's where it comes from.
Yes.
So I would say to Guy, who I love you because you knocked Kristen down a few notches. No, but I would say replace these voices. You have to be really active in replacing these voices. As easy as it is to just, lean on Kristen and say, oh, Kristen's in my head, screw her. You can put somebody else into your head. Put my voice in your head
I
saying,
picture
you're
it
not
like-
creepy. You're not that bad. You yourself have even said, I'm not a creepy guy.
I picture
So
he's
believe
having
that.
a thought like in Home Alone when Kevin's recalling everyone who was mad at him for spilling
Yeah.
the milk and all that stuff, and they're like, Kevin, you're such a disease. Like, I'm just picturing
Pepsi.
that.
Like all these
Right.
little bubbles
the
around.
Yeah,
his
that
head.
I'm like the uncle coming in being like,
Yeah.
look what you
Buzz.
did, you little jerk.
But honestly, your brain is
Buzz,
pretty
thank you.
powerful and strong. So I can give you a little tip and an exercise that I do when I start having negative thoughts so that I don't drill myself into a negative hole. I have like 3 to 5 songs that I select during a period of time that make me smile. But really what they do is they actually distract me from these negative thoughts. So if I start hearing I'm super creepy and nobody's going to like me, I will start singing a song in my head, or if I'm by myself, I'll sing it out loud to myself and to
Usually
even look in the
creepier.
mirror and really be super creepy. And then I'll distract myself from those negative thoughts, and then I can replace the thought that was in my head. So I think that a lot of people get trapped in their negative thoughts because then they start spiraling, and it can just do horrible things for you. But I would say replace the voice of Kristen with the voice of me or the voice of somebody else that you actually want to listen to who says something positive, and that will really help you with women. But Art is telling us to wrap up now because the show is over.
I got one more for him.
Yeah.
Look, when you stare at a girl, count to 3 and then look away. Never,
That's good.
Never more than 3.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's
But
very good.
I want the people to hear how to get in touch with both of you. So actually, we're going to go left to right first. So
At Lockjaw, LACHJAW.
Awesome. And they're going to see you on Last Comic Standing.
And they can see me
On
10 p.m.
Thursdays.
Thursdays on NBC.
That's awesome. And what about
Nice.
you?
On Twitter at Paul Then Shirley, and then Justin Halpern and I have a podcast on the PodcastOne network called
Is Justin
Short
Halper
Corn.
another
I was listening to it.
basketball
I
star?
like you.
No, he wrote Shit My Dad Says.
Oh,
that
okay.
whole
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Oh, really?
And, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so then, yeah, definitely check out the because of him.
He's way funnier than I am.
I was
Pay
just saying, I
attention.
liked him. No, thank you so much to both of you for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for everybody who is listening. If you want to ask questions, write to ask
Or
at-
insult Kristen.
Right, which is definitely going to get you your question read on the show.
Marnie's
So
like
just
them.
pay attention to that statement. Ask at AskWomenPodcast.com. You can download new episodes and old episodes of our show every Thursday. That doesn't actually make sense, but please subscribe so that you don't have to download. And we will see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.